Food for Thought with Professor David Bitte.
Saying this, the Bible says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. It also tells us to be transformed by the renewal of our minds, meaning the mind is one of the most powerful tools God has given us. Healthy mind determines the state of your life. Welcome to Food for Thought with Professor Ndetey. Last episode, we kicked off an interesting conversation talking about depression, beginning to understand what depression is, what causes depression, and how to overcome it. But we didn't quite finish that discussion, so we want to pick up the discussion from where we left off last week. I'm just wondering, what are some telltale signs that you can see in an individual that are key indicators that this person is sinking into depression? Because sometimes we get shocked later that so-and-so is depressed, and we're wondering, but I was with him yesterday, I was laughing with him here. So are there some telltale signs that can indicate to us that this person is not okay, they're sinking into depression?
Just to illustrate the point that you are making.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a young man, a child, who was brought to me because there was a crisis in the last 2 days, just the previous 2 days. And this was the dramatic change that brought the patient, the parents, to bring this child. And they said, our son has been okay all this time. It actually happened just 2 days ago. And this, we don't know what happened. Anything else? No, 2 days. I sat down with the child in their presence, and they started asking him questions. Have you been feeling like this? And I'll come back to the detail. Have you been feeling like that? When did it start happening? And you know what? Today is 2020, almost the end of August. This problem had been going on since 2015. The parents didn't know.
Wow.
The child did not know what was going on. So that is a very important question. So the most important thing, I think, is for parents, and you know, we are not talking about doctors or even nurses or clinical officers. We are talking about families, parents, where this person lives. Because that is where the symptoms will begin to appear.
Yeah.
I have said, in the case of the child, changes in the behavior. The one that I've just described without repeating myself. In adults, they will tell you, we have noticed so-and-so is not sleeping well, and there are different degrees of sleeping disturbances. We are not going for that. They are not eating well, the appetite has gone down. Sometimes, very rarely, they overeat, but more often than not, their appetite goes down and they start losing weight. This person is withdrawn. We don't know why he's withdrawn. This person is very irritable. If you talk to him, it's like he just wants to be left alone. It's like touching a live wire. He's irritable. This person seems to be very forgetful, very common condition. And the husband will tell you, you know, my wife would be in the kitchen, and she says she's boiling water to make ugali for the family.
Yes.
The water is boiling, so she goes to fetch the flour, and she forgets what she went to look for. She comes back and says, well, oh yes, I've remembered. I was looking for flour. Or somebody has money, puts the money somewhere, and they cannot remember where they put the money. Having said that, this kind of forgetfulness, and I wanted the viewers to understand this, you can be forgetful for two different, because of two possibilities.
Yes. You
can be forgetful because you are not able to concentrate on what you are doing. It's like your mind is there, you are there, but the mind is somewhere else.
Yes.
It means there is nothing that is going into your mind, so there will be nothing to record.
Yes.
Because nothing is registering.
Yes.
As opposed to somebody who has forgetfulness that is related to damage of the brain, the information is already in the brain, stored somewhere, but they are not able to retrieve that kind of information.
Okay.
So those are two different ways. But for depression, it's because their attention span, their concentration is so low that their minds are not really there.
I've had,
So those are,
Professor,
sorry?
I've had situations whereby somebody is so lively, they are the life of the party. They are the ones with all the jokes, but in reality, they are depressed. Is that also something worth noting?
Well, there are certain situations, and I don't want to become technical.
Yeah.
There are some situations where people may fluctuate very easily from being depressed to being high almost at the same time, talking quite a lot. We call it mixed affective disorder. It's extremely low. It's extremely rare. But I think you need a lot of clinical experience, which even as doctors, even I myself, through experience, you get to know that these things do exist and you need to make a differentiation. But more often than not, what you might be talking about is a person who is normally a agreeable person. They are making the family happy, telling jokes, and all of a sudden that changes. He goes into a depressive phase, and we start seeing a different person, very different from what we used to have. I think that's what we are talking about.
Yes.
But this fluctuation very fast from being depressed to being very high can happen in certain conditions, but very rare.
Wonderful. Indeed, information and knowledge is power. The Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. Even as we continue to gain more understanding from the professor about depression, I want to encourage you, if you are going through depression, find help. Don't lock yourself in the room. Don't just disappear from the world. Talk to somebody, find help, because help is available. We'll pick up this conversation on the next episode of Food for Thought. That's Food for Thought for today.